Hey everybody, welcome back to a whole new series of drawings. So we're gonna have some fun. I got my headset in, so that's kind of cool. Take it off for a sec. This is a sketchbook that was given to me by a gentleman named Parker. You're gonna hear a lot about Parker as the years go on. Okay, so we'll get into that. This is cool. I looked at he had it and I went, whoa, that's Fabiano. That's great paper. And he goes, well, not that expensive. You want one? I said, maybe. And he showed up with it. So let's talk a little bit about Parker. We'll do so here they're talking about Fabiano. It's like, it's just an old school, created in 1264. I think I was just graduating middle school at that point. We called it junior high. And Leonardo da Vinci used it, Michelangelo. Um, so I remember they talked about it a lot, Mike and Leo. They really liked it, and I asked one day, I go, "What are you guys using?" And they said Fabriano paper. I go, "What's that?" So they showed it to me, and it was pretty cool. So I've been using it a lot. So there's a lot of paper here, so this is going to be really cool. So let's do this. Let's talk a little bit about Parker, okay? Um, and Parker is going to oh, Parker is going to be what we're going to call the new generation for animation. Okay. And that's what we're doing at our school. We're training the new group. Um, so it's going to be fun. So let's talk about what does that mean? Who's Parker? Parker's uh, comes from amazing parenting. This guy, dad's, a doctor, research doctor. Mom's just incredible. His sister's wonderful. Kennedy goes to our school, really fun. And Parker, he's exceptional. So they approached, they approached and they said, here's what we want to do. We want to choose a local school. He's going to Cal State Northridge, which I've taught there. It's an excellent, excellent school. And what we want to do is go to Northridge, but stay at your school. Because what we do is we get the students ready to go to college. And once they go to college, then the hardest things I had to learn was how to say goodbye. Because I'm really kind of mushy and kind of like the Jewish mom of teaching, so I want to hold on and, hug them close and stuff. And, but let's see, I'm going to change this pose a bit. Get this one going. So I thought about it and I said, well, that'd be fun. We can do that because usually, again, we just kind of let them go, and then they come back. They'll come back during the summers and stuff. All right, let me figure out what I want to do with this. So she's going this way. I want this to be fast. I'm going to just bring her head down in here. I usually do that and give a ponytail. So do that and have the arm. And then we'll take the other arm and go this way. So I'm really changing this pose a lot. Okay, so we got that. So here's what we're doing. So he's doing his classes at Northridge, and I don't get too involved in those. I ask him what he's learning. Teachers so far have been great. Yeah, they got an animation teacher there. I looked at her stuff, and she worked at Space Jam, but I don't remember her. And then what I'm doing is going old school on Parker. So, he might get off a little bit easier at school, but he comes in with me as tough. I'm tough. Okay, so here we go. So that's the gesture. Gesture is a story. So what is the new school? Well, it's Parker's. Parker's talented, not a problem. Hardworking. So, and I only have to ask him once, and he gets to work on it. That's important, really important. So, because his mom will tell me, He's up really late at night. He's living at home. And socially very strong. He's really funny. He's got a really unique sense of humor. It's really, really funny. He comes up with stuff that makes me stop and think, and I'm not normal. So it's really fun. So between the two of us, um, not very normal. So it makes the classroom really fun. So what do we need? We need work hard, smart, but we're going to have to, for the future, we're going to have to be traditionally trained and digitally trained. Digital just means plug it on a wall. But the future, you're going to have lots of little assistants that you can have. You might be working on the gesture. While you're doing that, you're going to have an assistant doing research on the structure or the composition, many, many different composition variations, different value variations, different color variations, and it's going to be moving in front of you really fast, and you'll be grabbing that information as it's being presented to you, and that's called AI. So we're actually moving beyond AI. We're actually to the point where AI is just a tool. So right now, Parker's working really hard on the fundamentals. So he's painting, he's drawing, and a lot of design, a lot of composition, a lot of storytelling. But like he came in the other day and, in the school they're doing dialogues. We got into dialogue and had to do dialogue. So Parker is the new generation for the industry. No drama, no, he's just easygoing and super chill. He's comfortable in his own skin. Just good guy, good person. So basically when let's see, this one's coming towards me. I'm going to make it go away. So this line, so I'm really changing this pose. I can't show it to you because she's naked. Okay, so here we go. So we're breaking in this new sketchbook. So that's Parker. I tell the people at our school, if I can tell you what the industry is going to be like in 5-6 years, and I can tell you with confidence, don't go there. Don't go to our school because I'm lying to you. Okay, if this is going to go this way, this has to go opposite. See that? That's your gesture. There we go. Looks like it's, we'll go this way. So I think Parker represents what will be the future. And I'm just very honored to be able to train him. The difference, though, is that I have to come up with a 4-year curriculum, which I already have. And it's in my, got it. Been doing this forever. So if you were to say to me, okay, what are you going to teach him at the end of the second year? I know exactly what I want him to learn, with leaving open as things change. And that's, I think, the key part is it's going to change. It's going to change in ways that we don't know. So we have to be ready to make those changes as they progress. Yes, we got that. This is going to come this way. There's a belly button. That flow. So I'm already giving Parker my referral, my recommendation, and just know he'll be ready in about another 3 years. One of the problems I had with universities was that, the senior year, they're burning the kids out. They would come to our school, they'd have PTSD. I mean, they'd be like crying and shaking and like, what the hell? You can't do that in a studio. You get thrown out. You can't treat people like that. So what I want to do with the kids at my school is I call it a steady drumbeat of obsession. And what you're doing is it's just nice and steady flow. You know, it's like the tortoise and the hare. And keep their heads in the right spot. Keep it fun. You go into this because it's fun. Find out who they are. Work to what their, what their love is. Find out where they fit. And it's really cool. Really good. And Parker's doing that. So I kind of see him right now. He'd be a wonderful technical director. He'd be a good TD because he's so smart and he's really up on the computers. He's not afraid of any part of it. We have no fear of AI at all. So for that, he's good to go. I'm not afraid of it. You just see it as a fun tool. And I don't have to really use it much, but I learn it every week. So today's Thursday. And I'll be learning more about AI tonight. My student teaches me. And we'll get into him later. So my students are my teachers. They're 40 now, so we've been friends for a very long time. So that's Parker. You have to have a foot, so let's put a foot in here. We're breaking the sketchbook in. We're going to draw more from it. Feels good. Finally, Corey set it up on our computer so I can go and see what you guys have written. So last night I went through them. Really, you guys can hate me for this one. I went back like 4 years. But somebody wrote, about structure. As soon as you draw a cross contour, so this is going this way, see that cross contour? You got structure. Okay. And then as soon as we go like this, we wrap around, pick up, come down, that structure. Just making it fit. You don't have to do it like a machine. So the cat's out of the bag, which is saying that now you know that I'm actually teaching a career level at my school. But it's not for everybody because you got to be able to put up with me. I was trained tough. I talk about it all the time. I had the old timers. So Parker's getting old time. And he never knows when he comes in, what he's going to get. So, but we did that at Chapman in the first 2 years, and it worked out really well. We did it at San Jose for years in the early days. It changed, but in the beginning, I was tough, really tough. The kids did so well. There's a difference between being tough and being mean or being cruel. So you don't want to be cruel. You can be tough, but you don't want to be cruel. So that's important. My favorite story is this. I kept telling this one student to stop drawing with an H pencil. We're doing figure drawing. Come on, man. Let's kind of get a tool that will keep up with us, So I walked up, took his pencil, broke it in half, and threw it against the wall. And the whole class was shocked. How could it be so mean? And then it was right after I left the studios. When we were in the studios, and I worked at home, had pencils everywhere. I got tons and tons of pencils. And so I walked over to my bag and pulled out a half dozen of the most expensive pencils that exist. And I walked up to this dude and I said, "Sweetheart, use these. Now, would you give up a cheap H pencil that doesn't really cost anything for a half dozen of the most expensive pencils right from the studio?" I think so. So it was really funny. I said, "Sweetheart, use these." So worked out really well. If I had students who couldn't afford art supplies, because I remember what it was like to not be able to afford art supplies, they got what they needed. And I've had students in the end get like $600-700 worth of art supplies, that I've given them. So if they didn't have the money, they got what they needed. But we didn't say anything. We didn't, advertise it. You just here. So I did that a lot. So somebody's working on something. Well, somebody's gardener. So here's the referral. Parker is already awesome. Just first year out of high school. He moved here from a place called Carmel, which I always have fun with. Not Carmel, like we have Caramel, like the kind of stuff I put on my ice cream. So I always have fun joking about that. He researched before he moved. He researched and found our school, so they knew they were going to come to our school before they were moved, which was kind of cool. And he'd been there, finished high school, and Gardner's got to go away, and finished high school, and then continued on. So I'm very honored. I'm very happy. And Parker, this is a bitch in sketchbook. But it's Fabiano, so of course. All right, so somebody is doing their yard. Hopefully it's over soon. I'll have to close my window. So what I'm going to do with Parker's in his senior year will be pretty much done. And we'll spend that year working on actually getting the job. And I think that's the way it should be done. You're not going to be able to really think through things if you're all stressed out. So we'll do that. One thing I do for my students, if they are really stressed and it's damaging them, I'll take the stress. I'll grab it. So like it's like when a movie, I'll take it from them and put it on myself. So now I own the stress. They don't have to worry about it. And I'll keep it. And then they can keep studying. So it's tough. You gotta be careful. And but it seems to work well. Worked well in colleges. Because some of those kids can get really stressed out. So it's okay. Now I own the stress. It's mine. So I'll take care of it. Your job is just to learn. And it worked, So I've done that a lot. Parker doesn't have any stress. Nothing bothers him. He's just the easiest going guy. He's just so funny. And he's funny. But different, like stuff I would never think of. It really cracks me up. We have that at our school. We got some really fun kids. So, all right, it really takes the pencil. So we'll try to do some more Renaissance stuff. Okay, so we just broke in a brand new sketchbook from an exceptional, amazing person. And again, what I would say is if you're a recruiter and you're watching this, just put a little note, Parker. We'll let you know when he's ready, when he graduates, and just hire him. You know, if you hired him right now, he would do fine. But you know, just go ahead and hire him, and then I'll back him up. I'll back you up. So for the recruiters, if you hire any of my students that I've mentored, I'll guarantee them. I used to do this when I was at the university. I used to tell studios, I'll guarantee the student. So if there's a problem, I'll take them back, retrain them, and give them right back to you. So I guarantee the student. So that means not only with their training, but in their person. It's real important to get somebody who you can work with, and you know, can get through the day without being exhausted. All right. Yeah, it's a fun way to break it in your sketchbook. All right, now let's get down to some business, some of the other stuff. Okay. I'll see you in a few.